In today's biased news, Wagner hands over the keys to the city, Germany enters a recession, and Elon gets the go-ahead to put a chip in your brain. As of the beginning of 2023, Germany has officially entered a recession, after skyrocketing inflation and reduced household spending resulted in 2 successive quarters of economic contraction, the normative definition of a recession. GDP fell by 0.5% in the fourth quarter of 2022 and 0.3% in the first quarter of this year. The German finance minister fears that the economy is, quote, losing potential for growth, as IMF predictions suggest a continuing recession in Germany and Britain. German dependence on Russian gas further exacerbated the crisis after the sanctions placed on Russia, with one bank analyst saying, quote, under the weight of immense inflation, the German consumer has fallen to his knees, dragging the entire economy down with him. Much hope was placed on a global reopening post-COVID, as well as the loosening of supply chain issues. But results have been lackluster. Household consumption is down 1.2%, and government spending is down 4.9%. Making a recession unavoidable, according to the Commerzbank chief economist. The economy minister warned that potential budget cuts of up to 22 billion euros are coming down the line in order to stabilize the economy. Amongst this, assorted ministries are asking for further funds, with one major demand being the modernization of Germany's armed forces to fulfill NATO's 2% defense spending target. The entire Eurozone is at risk of reverberating effects of a weakened German economy, which has also been affected by disruption of the US economy following the debt ceiling stalemate in Washington. As usual, economic policies geared towards benefiting business interests and geopolitical saber-rattling irrelevant to the vast majority of Germans and Europeans are being followed by austerity and budget cuts. Except for NATO, of course. This is an insidious form of class warfare, in which the costs of the decisions of the German ruling class have been forced on the rest of the population, as the share of wealth going to the rich increases year by year. Under capitalism, the logic of the system demands growth year over year. Otherwise, the system implodes, dragging millions into poverty. The concept that degrowth through the scaling back of harmful industries, or a retooling of the economy, increasing efficiency without growth measured monetarily, is unthinkable within the confines of this irrational system. Elon Musk's Neuralink, a brain implant company, has received FDA approval for its first human trials. The company is currently the target of multiple federal investigations, including concerns over animal cruelty and the illegal transport of pathogens on chips not properly decontaminated after being removed from monkey brains. Musk has not stated the aims of the human trials, but based on his cult-like following, his acolytes will be lining up in droves to get chipped by Daddy Elon. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, known mostly for ChatGPT, states that the company will most definitely not be leaving the EU, in light of Europe becoming the first major legislator drafting regulations regarding AI. This admission comes after a previous threat to leave Europe if he felt their regulations were becoming too difficult to follow. While AI tools are a fascinating new avenue for tech, some regulation is definitely required. In China, patriotic stock purchasing is helping curb US and Japanese quasi-sanctioning of Chinese tech companies. Whatever gets sanctioned, wealthy Chinese citizens intentionally buy more of. This seems to indicate a general trend in Chinese attitudes toward American economic warfare. Tensions and protests kick off in Georgia as over 100,000 Russian immigrants and refugees move to the country, mostly in an attempt to dodge the draft. The anti-immigration rhetoric is framed in the usual xenophobic manner of foreigners overrunning the country. While the protests are getting plenty of news coverage, the Georgian people as a whole are showing great hospitality to their northern neighbors, with whom they have a rather complicated history. In a continuation of the US recession saga, President Biden says progress has been made in talks with top Republican Kevin McCarthy over the US debt ceiling, even as Congress breaks for a holiday weekend. He said, "I made clear time and again defaulting on our national debt is not an option." He says Americans deserve certainty over issues such as Social Security payments. It remains to be seen whether the issue will actually be resolved. In Bakhmut, Wagner has officially started handing over the city to standard Russian military personnel. Prigozhin said in a video posted on Telegram, quote, "We are withdrawing the units from Bakhmut. From today at 5 in the morning, May 25th, until June 1st, most of the units will rebase to camps in the rear, we are handing our positions to the military. In Belarus, longtime leader Lukashenko has announced the signing of a decree that would allow Russia to deploy tactical, shorter-range nuclear weapons in the country. Both Moscow and Minsk justified the deal as a response to what they perceive as Western hostility. In Serbia, tens of thousands continue to flock to the streets in protests sparked by the 2 recent mass shootings. The government, which is blamed for the unfortunate events, as well as for the general situation in the country, is planning on holding a massive counter-protest in the coming week. The second round of the Turkish elections is set to begin on May 28th. Erdogan is still the favorite, but the outcome, according to most analysts, is still far from certain at the moment. And in positive news of the day, solar power investment is set to outpace spending on oil production for the first time this year. While large-scale systemic change will be necessary to stop or at least slow climate change, it's good to see some momentum in the right direction. That's all for today. We'll be back on Monday with more news. If you'd like to see episodes with more in-depth analysis, consider supporting the show on Patreon so we can grow and expand.